It is my great pleasure to welcome you to a topical discussion, it must be said, on financial stability in the macroeconomy, and it's sponsored by the university's new Becker-Friedman Institute. But before we started, I wanted to give a very deep vote of thanks to the CME Group Foundation for their generous support of the event. The CME is a fine Chicago institution that was, as I think most people know, formed by the merger of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade, which really laid the framework for the world's leading derivative exchange, which is what it is now. The foundation does some great work with education in the Chicago area, not just supporting our fine event, but also some very important work with young and underprivileged students. And again, we thank you very, very much for your support. We're really excited about the Becker-Friedman Institute. It bears the name of two of our most famous and best-known economists. And what I'd like to do is introduce you to a third who will tell you about the Institute, introduce tonight's discussion, and last but not least, tell you a bit about the very distinguished panelists we have. Lars Hansen is the research director of the Institute. He's been at Chicago for 30 years. He had the good sense to not arrive until I was almost off the scene, but we overlapped slightly, so his bad luck. He holds a distinguished service professorship in both the departments of economics and statistics. This professorship bears the name of the university's founder, so just to give you an idea of what the university as a whole thinks of him. His research work, for which he is literally world famous, is on the broad field of economic dynamics. He is a member of every single one of the American and world academic academies, and has more important awards than you can literally shake a stick at. So with no further ado, Lars Hansen, ladies and gentlemen.
So thank you, Sekhar. So I welcome you to this event hosted by the Becker-Friedman Institute at the University of Chicago. I serve as the research director, and Eddie Lazier joins me in his capacity as the chairman of the Board of Overseers. This evening, we will follow in the tradition of the Institute's namesakes as we will apply economic analysis to a serious policy issue. While Milton Friedman was a great public intellectual, he was also a superb macroeconomist. He made many important scientific contributions to the field that continue to have an enduring impact at the University of Chicago and around the world. The Becker-Friedman Institute builds on Friedman's legacy and on Gary Becker's enduring, broad-reaching, and policy-relevant microeconomic contributions. Following their intellectual examples, the Institute blurs the distinction between microeconomic and macroeconomic analyses as we pursue a wide array of research initiatives. In his Nobel address, Friedman reminded us of the importance of scientific endeavor as the essential foundation for the assessment and design of economic policy. This perspective helps to define the Institute's research mission, and it's why we support and nurture innovative and rigorous economic analysis in the pursuit of important policy questions. The University of Chicago is fortunate to have distinguished economic researchers at both the economics department and the Booth School, and other areas across campus as well. And the Institute brings together scholars from both the university and around the world to explore important economic questions. The Institute also builds on the strong connections between economics and finance. As most of you are aware, the group of financial economists at the Chicago Booth School is basically as good as it gets in the field of finance. This intellectual strength is bolstered by the power of economic analysis as a tool for understanding the unique role of financial markets in the modern economy. Today we'll draw on the expertise and perspectives of three distinguished panelists to explore the interaction between financial markets and macroeconomic performance and the impact of macroeconomic policy and financial market oversight. We explore some of these issues in both a broader historical context, but also in light of our recent financial turbulence and the accompanying major recession. My experience has been that panels such as this one provide interesting perspectives, but also, just as important, they expose areas where our basic understanding is limited and where future research might be most productive. This latter role is valuable because the Becker-Friedman Institute has launched a variety of research initiatives, including interconnected projects that relate directly to this panel discussion. One on fiscal imbalance and a second one on modeling linkages between the macroeconomy and financial markets. These topics are some of the most challenging and complex economic and policy issues we face today. So this evening we have three experts who will guide our exploration of these issues. John Cochran is my long-term colleague at the university. He is the AQR Capital Management Distinguished Service Professor and has done path-breaking research on a variety of important topics that connect macroeconomics and financial markets, and research on the impact of monetary and fiscal policy on macroeconomic performance. He's a fellow of the Econometric Society and past president of the American Finance Association. Charles Goodhart is an expert on monetary policy and the oversight of financial institutions. He combines policymaking expertise with academic excellence. His policy perspectives come in part from his long-term role as monetary policy advisor to the Bank of England, including the chief advisor in the early 80s. He joined the London School in the mid-80s and has served as the Norman Susnow Professor of Banking and Finance. Finally, he is commander of the Order of the British Empire, a position I'm still trying to fully comprehend. Our third panelist is Francisco Garzarelli, who's the director of the Macro and Markets Research Group at Goldman Sachs here in London. His expertise on European economies and on global interest rates and credit markets provide a valuable private sector perspective on financial markets and the macroeconomy.